everywhere to figuring out what platform is going to be the platform to propel my business, because every social media platform is not geared towards that NEMT
Mm.
company. And you'll find that out very fast.
Hey guys, welcome back to NEMT Van Talks. I'm Jasmine,
And I'm Monica.
and we're the owners of an NEMT business based in California. Now, today we have two guests, and one of our guests is Courtney of Patient Transportation LLC and Harry of Osborne Digital. So we are going to start this off by connecting with Courtney, talking about her experiences as a NEMT business owner, but then we're also going to dive in deep and we're going to talk about marketing and some of the strategies and some of the technology that is available for NEMT providers. So you definitely want to stay tuned to the end of this video.
So let's get started. So, Courtney, tell us about Patient Transportation LLC. How did you get started in this business? And just share with us like your journey.
Okay, Monica. So I'm a nurse, right? My last job before going off and starting my business was I was a director of nursing of a facility. One of the jobs that I had to do, or my duties, was to set up transportation for our dialysis clients, our residents who needed to go out to doctor's appointments, whose families couldn't come into the facilities themselves and carry them. And a lot of times we hit road bumps with transportation not showing up, not being on time, not being able to get in touch with them, not being able to get in touch with the transportation companies and things like that. So the crazy thing about it is when COVID hit in 2021, my mom, she's a nurse also. She was like, we're having a hard time getting some of these COVID patients to here and there. So I actually started my LLC in 2021. When I became a DON, that job was so hectic, I couldn't move forward with my business. But then I just stepped out on faith. I'm like, God, you're going to carry me. And I started Patient Transportation.
So officially, what was the date that you were just like, okay, I'm going full force with this NEMT business and I'm just ready to give it my all?
It was literally last October. It was mid-October of 2023. So when I tell you I have not even been in business a full year, but God has been good because as we spoke earlier, when you put in that work, and I think because I went all in, I let go of my other job and I just really put everything into patient transportation because it doesn't come easily. And so you have to knock the doors down to get the contracts, knock the doors down to get the callbacks. That's really what I had to do to really get it going.
And that's funny you say that, because I had a discussion on our Instagram account with our NEMT family and our audience, and I talked about, I'm getting a lot of people that say, I want to start my NEMT business, but I'm only going to be able to operate the business on the weekend. And I'm like, no, you have, if
Mm-mm.
you can't, if you're going to start out owner operator, if you're going to drive that vehicle and you can only drive on the weekend, then you need to find a driver that can operate the vehicles Monday through Friday, because the core of our business is transporting individuals to and from their medical appointments. And there's only a handful of medical facilities and rehabilitation centers that are open on the weekend, right? So I'm glad that you shared that, because it is important. If you really want your business to thrive, you have to be hands-on.
Mhm.
But that leads me to another question. What is your service area?
We service Jefferson County, Shelby County, Walker County. We go out for a 100-mile radius, and we try to be available to everyone. If there's certain things that we can work in, even if they're not if our schedule is packed, we try to work them in. We'll even work late until the night. Like there have been times where I have gotten home at 11 p.m. and that's how all in you have to be with it,
Yeah.
because you're going to have that transport who you get the call last minute and they got to go an hour and a half away, and you still got your day going. So
Mhm.
yes, we cover about 100-mile radius though for right now
And
Oh,
that's
wow.
in Alabama,
in
Mississippi,
Alabama.
Alabama, Alabama.
Birmingham, Alabama is where we're based. Jefferson County, and we cover Shelby County.
What type of services do you offer within your business? What level of service?
So one thing I always stress to our consumers, our clients, is that we're non-emergent medical transportation. And I know you guys probably know you'll get that person who calls and say, "Hey, my father's not breathing well. Can you come pick him up?" And I'm like, "Hey, I redirect them." And I guess me having the nursing background also, I've asked, "Well, what are the symptoms?" Like, "No, you need to call 911." But we do offer just non-emergency medical, which is our wheelchair accessible vans. We do a little stretcher transportation here or there, and we take ambulatory clients as well.
I wanted to ask you this like when we first started, but it's coming to me now and I just have to ask. Like, how did you know when you were starting this business, this was the right move for you to just really to quit your job and to just pour everything into starting your business? Because that's huge, that's big. And we get a lot of people ask us that question too, like where I'm trying to go in between of starting my business, I'm working full time, I don't know if I'm making the right move. But for you to just to trust yourself, like what was that like for you?
It's scary. And I say this to anyone who talk, like I've had people ask me, "Oh, tell me about your business. I want to do." Other nurses who worked under me, who were my staff when I was a DON, and I tell them, entrepreneurship is not easy. I tell them this first: if you cannot receive a paycheck for 3 to 6 months, don't do it. Don't go all in if you cannot survive without receiving a paycheck,
Yeah.
because it doesn't come to you overnight. So that's my first bit of advice to them, because they think, "Oh, I can go buy a van and it's gonna just be like that." Or they'll say, "Oh, I'm gonna just do Medicaid." And I'm like, "Yeah, no, it doesn't work that way." But for me, I really just fully relied on Christ. I just really fully relied on God. And I was like, I'm gonna give it a try. And you really just have to throw yourself out there. And then once they see your face, once they know who you are, once you build that rapport with certain people in the community, you'll start getting the call slowly but surely.
Absolutely. So when you were just starting out in business, with your NEMT business, did you face any challenges? Did you find it very difficult to gather the information that you needed to get started? What was your experience with that?
In the state of Alabama, NEMT is not a huge thing right now. Are still the main thing that people call. So when I started out, I really didn't have anything to go by. And still I'm figuring things out as I go. So pulling information, looking through the internet, looking at other states and seeing what their laws are, what they do, how they operate, because there's no clear cut laws in this state for how to operate your NEMT business. So that was definitely a hurdle. And some of it, you just go out there and you're like, "Oh, okay, I can't do that. Okay, we're gonna
Mhm.
back up, regroup. But that was definitely a thing. But I think as the industry is growing, more is to come for us in Alabama.
Absolutely. And then you mentioned something as well. You said that, you know, and the ambulance is a big thing there, right? And I had a
Yes.
conversation with someone yesterday, and I think a lot of people or a lot of organizations are not aware of NEMT services that are out there. So when it comes to, hey, people are still using ambulance, I think it's up to us as NEMT professionals to make people aware of our services and our offerings within our region. So, like you said, getting out there, spreading the word, sharing the information, it's going to be very, very vital to the success of your business. So, I'm thrilled to hear you say that you are doing the work because it is important. I spoke to you, I think it's probably a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month or so now. And we talked about marketing. We talked about marketing and some of the things that you have implemented within your business. And we touched on Osborne Digital and how much Osborne Digital, their services have helped you in your marketing. So can you tell me a little bit about how did you get to a point where you said, you know what, I need to beef up my marketing, I need to have a real strategy in place, and what led you to begin to start looking for services to help you with those processes?
As a new business, you wear so many hats. You're the owner, you're the operator, you're the driver, you're the payroll, you are the everything. And when I found myself trying to create content, trying to figure out when to put it out there, how to do it, are they looking at this? Okay, this looks very childish. Why did I even do that? I was like, okay, I'd rather pay the professional to handle it for me. So I came to a point where I saw Harry's thing on Facebook, and I was like, let me reach out to Harry and let me see if he can help a sister out because I'm struggling over here. And I would like make a little post or whatever and show it to my friends, like, does this look okay? Does it look professional? And half of them look very thrown together. So I was like, yeah, let's get a professional in here. And when I tell you, the way that my images look, the feedback that I got once I brought him on board, it's been phenomenal. Everywhere to figuring out what platform is going to be the platform to propel my business, because every social media platform is not geared towards that NEMT
Mm,
company, and you'll find that out very fast. And so trial and error, we found the things that work for me, where we get the most feedback, where we get good leads. And when I say good leads, like you have facilities, heads of facilities getting back to you and people within the surrounding area. So that was very important for me to get him on board to kind of take the lead on that ship. And I tell him anytime, I'm like, hey, that's yours. If you say it's good, we're gonna roll with it. So
Lot of pressure, a lot of pressure.
So, Courtney, let me ask you this. What specific services did you use or are you currently using of Osborne Digital?
So he definitely manages the social media aspects. He has gone into the Google ads and kind of tailored those because I did a little work with that, but you can ask him. I was all over the place. I didn't know what I put up or whatever. So he's in Google ads has been very great. Like the way he's tailored it, we've been getting a lot of feedback there. And then the chat box has actually helped me out a lot because as you guys know, you're going to get the same call 5 times, 10 times, 30 times a
yes,
day, every single day. So giving them an alternative route to get those questions answered without actually speaking to me while I'm handling so many other things has been phenomenal. And it's also good because I love the fact that you can go back and see the entire conversation and see what the questions were and kind of delve into it before contacting that person.
We talked about LinkedIn a little bit and how Osborne Digital has helped you, make some of those connections with key players, right? And
Yeah.
some of those skilled nursing facilities and hospitals. But one thing that really stood out to me is that you pretty much told me, you were like, yes, I've made these connections. My connections are growing. My relationships are growing with these people. And I know that if I'm not seeing a return on my investment now, I will. And I think your patience and your understanding in that aspect of it um, is really stood out to me because a lot of people think that things are supposed to happen immediately. And I tell NEMT providers when you are just starting out, they say, "Oh, well, can I make 100,000 in 4 months?" Well, some people probably can, but a large percentage of others cannot.
yeah,
So it's really what you put into it, especially with marketing, right? So when we invest in marketing services, we automatically think, okay, I'm going to give this company 2 months or 3 months. I better start seeing some money. No, you have to nurture it. You have to pay attention to the analytics and really understand it. So that's what I really loved about you, Courtney. And that's why I was like, you know what? I have to get you on our YouTube channel because you are a great example of what patience looks like in the NEMT industry. So I appreciate you for that.
Yeah, and not
Yes.
only that, like you guys mentioned, marketing is an investment. You're
Mhm.
investing back into your business. And a lot of times you guys are right. People don't understand, like truly when you market your business, you have to think about the long-term benefit of it as well. No, you may not see the return immediately, but it is a long-term investment. Just like you mentioned, those leads that you're getting in, right? You know, those leads can turn into customers, and then those customers can turn into repeat customers. And then that's what long-term money, that revenue that you're generating for your business. So marketing in our business in the NEMT industry is a key component of really operating a successful business. You have to market, and marketing is different from for everyone, but it is a key component within the NEMT industry. So yeah, I'm glad that it's working for you.
I'm
Yeah.
going to say this one thing that people forget about with marketing. And this is something that Harry and I discussed too. Like when we first started off on LinkedIn specifically, it's hard to get those leads to come back, right? Or to even see the leads sometimes. Yeah, you're getting out there, whatever, you're putting the content. But one thing that I love about it is aside from the lead, you have to be aware of your brand awareness.
Mhm.
Like you're putting your logo out there, they're seeing it, and that counts for something. You might not directly get the lead, but the more that they see your company, and that is an investment, it does not come easily. You have to keep throwing it out there repeatedly. And that's something that Harry watches, he monitors for me. He tells me where are we getting the interactions from. But I definitely wanted to just elaborate on that and say that brand awareness is key. It's not always going to be the lead. Sometimes when you're walking around the streets and people see your events, oh, we realized your events. We saw that on Google or we saw that on this. That counts too.
Yeah.
And I know the women tend to take over these conversations. And I know we're not giving Harry the opportunity to say a word because we are just being right. So I definitely want to go ahead and pull Harry into our conversation. Harry is the founder of Osborne Digital. And Harry, I am so excited to have you on our platform. I know when we initially spoke via Instagram, you were telling me about this wonderful service that you're providing to NEMT providers. And I was like, okay, so what we gonna before we move any further, I need to speak to people you've worked with, okay? And I did. And I did not just speak to Courtney. I spoke to another individual as well that spoke highly of your services. So I am honored to have you here on our platform. And
Yes.
I just want you to share with our audience a little bit more about Osborne Digital and how you got started and what made you really focus on the NEMT sector.
Yeah, so the name Osborne is an old family name. I'm from Alabama as well, so that's how I kind of connect with Courtney because we're both from Birmingham. But Osborne is an old family name, and it's kind of the starting of our holding company, which is called Osborne Enterprises. So I started off when I graduated from Tuskegee back in 2010. I had a degree. I have a degree in sales and marketing. I've been in a bunch of different logistics and supply chain roles over those last 8 years. Um, and I've always been like freelancing with doing some of my marketing stuff on the side, helping, family or clients who've reached out to me via word of mouth. But after COVID, I decided to like, hey, I need to really like put my services out there, start my company, make things official. It's funny how everybody just kind of has this epiphany after COVID, but
Yeah.
yeah, I started offering my services as officially as Osborne Digital a few years ago. And I was, on Facebook, and I was, letting people know. And Courtney ended up reaching out to me, and I started doing some work for her as well. And then like it was weird. It's like over like the last 6 months, like I've been getting phone calls or texts or visits on my website from other NEMT providers. So I always say like, NEMT kind of organically found me because I think some of the services that we provide really,
We need you.
yeah, they really fit into what you guys are really looking for. So I'm excited to be a part of it. I mean, when I first started, we were probably, we were working with service-based businesses. We had some e-commerce clients, but now we're probably 70 to 80% of our client base is NEMT providers across the country. So yeah, we naturally gravitated toward the industry. And I think with my supply chain logistic background, it kind of I understand right what's going on. So it helps me from a marketing standpoint be able to better serve you guys. So yeah, it's been a whirlwind, but yeah, it's definitely an interesting industry, especially from a marketing perspective. And there's a lot of things that I'm surprised people aren't taking advantage of, which is where we come in and how we, try to help you guys.
I think that that's great because, you can really see, what it is we need. And
Mm-hmm.
then based on your experiences, you really just tailor your services to what you think is best for us. But, and speaking with Courtney as well, she told me that, you're always, you've always got some new ideas and,
Yeah.
you really collaborate well with her. And I've heard that from the other person that I spoke to as well. So I think, having not only having a marketing agency, but having a partner within the marketing agency that you can collaborate with and bounce ideas off of. Because
Yeah,
let's face
absolutely.
it, the business owner still has to be involved in some kind of way. You're going to need their feedback. And I think that that's important.
I'm always bugging Courtney, like text messages like, oh, this, did you check this? This lead came through. Like, so she's always getting like text messages with like all my like thoughts and stuff on there. And then, yeah, we collaborate very, very well. I've always got an idea like, hey, let's try this. Like, I think last month we had an email marketing campaign to her system of clients that have already used her service. I was like, hey, we need to probably engage with these folks a little bit more. So I had some ideas that I was throwing around and, we collaborated on it and ended up working. So yeah, whenever we bring on a client, we're always, there's always that two-way communication to understanding what their needs are, understanding how we can help. And if we have an idea, we'll pitch it to the owner and say, hey, what do you think about this? And they'll say, yeah, let's try this, and we'll try it, right? And even if it doesn't work, we still have that knowledge of, okay, we've tried this, let's tweak it a little bit for next time so we kind of understand what works from a marketing perspective. Absolutely. Absolutely the collaboration.
That's
So,
great.
Harry, tell us more about the services that you do offer within Osborne Digital. Like, what are the services specifically for the NEMT industry? Like, how can an NEMT provider benefit from those services?
Yeah, so let's get into the specifics, right? Like, what is like marketing NMT? Like, what does that even mean, right? So, at its basic core, we make sure that your service is being shown to people who are searching for the service. So, right, whenever we bring on a client, we always say this: go to Google, type in medical transportation or non-emergency medical transportation, see what comes up, right? And if your business isn't in the top 3 or 4, 3 to 5 search results, then that's a problem, right? We need to make sure that you're getting in front of people who are actually searching for that service. So at our base core function, we help NEMT providers get Google advertising going for their business. So essentially, it's the cheapest form of advertising. So when someone goes to Google, they type in, hey, I need a medical transportation, let's say Birmingham, right? I make sure Courtney's business shows up as an option to do that. And we also work with her to create her service offering. So whenever someone searches for Google, there's a bunch of different companies that may show up. But what is your offer to make people choose your business over the competitors? So we talk about strategy, we talk about the offer, what does it take? What can you, like, for instance, let's say 10% off rides for this week is the offer, right? So we make sure that that offer is attractive in the marketplace and make sure that people are clicking on that advertising when it comes up. So that's one of our core offerings. Outside of that, there's LinkedIn as well, which is what we call push advertising. So Google is pull, right? I'm searching for a service, so I want to pull back results. The other one is push advertising, which is completely cold audiences. So from a LinkedIn perspective, we make sure that your brand is being seen by those people in those decision-making areas within medical facilities, right? So it's more expensive, definitely more expensive, but you're getting in front of your core audience, especially because I mean, if you're able to attract one client from a medical facility, right? It'll pay for itself. So we always say, let's start off with your base, which is your base advertising, can be either Google or Facebook. We like to say Google because it's more of a warm audience than cold. So we start there, and then from there we grow the strategy to say, okay, now that I've got my core audience taken care of, what can I do from a budget perspective to reach out to some of those larger facilities? So there's the advertising piece, and I know we're going to talk about the hot topic that's been over, which is artificial intelligence. But what we do is with the chatbots, we combine artificial intelligence, and it's able to engage with your core clients on your website, answer questions. It can give them quotes. It can steer them in the right direction, because a lot of the times when I've been working with NEMT operators, the big thing is like, hey, like Courtney said, I'm wearing multiple hats in my business. I can't always answer that customer inquiry as soon as they fill out my contact us form, or even if they call me and I'm driving a client, I can't always pick up that phone, right? So the chatbot helps them not only save time, but it saves money as well, because the alternative to that is, hey, let me go hire a virtual assistant, or let me go outsource to, I don't know, Philippines or something to get someone to answer the phone. So this helps the smaller businesses scale their business, because you're going to get 70% of the calls are going to be repetitive, right? So how can you handle those calls in a way that's efficient and in a way that reflects your brand image? So that's what we do. We actually combine with Google advertising. We actually combine the chatbot. So when someone searches for the business on Google, there's a link that says live chat. So when they click that live chat, it goes directly into the chat bot, and they can start asking the chat bot their questions and getting their questions answered. And if they want to book a ride, it leads them, hey, you can go ahead and book a ride through this link, or give us a call if you have more questions. And that's when Courtney will get her phone calls, and she can kind of see the conversation that was had. And based on that conversation, she can kind of already know what I need to say, or what this person's calling about. So that's how I know it's a long spiel, but it's a lot that we do. And that's just kind of the core offerings that we offer NEMT service providers. Yeah.
What is the process of actually setting that up? I know you said that Courtney's currently using it on her website. How much back and forth did you guys have to go through to like finally get it perfect? Because I know that people have so many questions when it comes to scheduling rides. So I know it took some time for you guys to come up with the perfect questions, but also responses to those questions.
Yeah, so I'll let Courtney go after me, but I tried to say, okay, what are the top 10 questions that you get, right? And I tried to program. So we've purchased the software to actually build the custom chatbots ourselves. So myself and one of my virtual assistants, they actually build the chatbots specific to the business. So what we do is we try to say, okay, what are the most frequently asked questions for any MT for service providers, right? You get the questions about, hey, I got a 911, and are you guys ambulatory? Do you guys take Medicaid, Medicare? So those type of questions that you would normally get a phone call for, the chatbot is pre-programmed to know about your business. We implement what they call a web crawler. So I'm a huge nerd, but a web crawler, it goes on your website, and it takes all of the information from your website, and we use that as sort of the brain trust for the chatbot. So it understands your hours of operation, it understands your service area. So when someone asks like, hey, do you service this city? It can automatically tell them, yeah, we service this city. And we've even programmed Courtney's to be able to give them an estimate of the ride. So when they say, hey, how much could this potentially cost? It's like, hey, we charge this amount if you have a wheelchair loading, and we charge, a per mile rate based on your origin and destination. And it gives all this information real time, right? So artificial, like it's crazy how fast the technology is changing and how helpful it has been to see it within people's real businesses. So like the technology, I mean, honestly, every week there's like a new update. So we have what they call an open API connection with the company that makes ChatGPT, which is a company called OpenAI. So our software directly integrates with ChatGPT. So it's a conversational based model that the chatbot is built on. So like I said, it's growing every day, and it's getting more advanced, and the more advanced it gets, the more we can help owner operators help scale their business via that particular method.
And to piggyback off that, I'm glad that you brought in the chat GBT and the conversation. One thing about it is a lot of my clients who reach out, who actually end up calling me after speaking with the chat box, they think that they've already spoken to me. And I'm like, no, like that wasn't, I never tell them, no, it wasn't me. But it's just interesting that the chat box makes them feel like they're actually conversing with a real person. So that's the beautiful thing of it too.
Yep. Anywhere, and it's collecting their information, like, it's asking, hey, what's your name? What's your email? What's your phone number? And we're using that information as lead collection, right? We're putting those potential customers and clients into our ecosystem. So now that we've collected their information, they're in our ecosystem, we can follow up with them. Like, let's say for that particular ride, they didn't, our solution wasn't, in time or whatever the case may be, or within their budget. Let's say next month they may have a need, right? So now that we have that lead collection information, we can start, hey, we can add them to our email marketing campaign every month. It tells them like, hey, we're offering, such and such, discounts or promotions for this month. So it's all about engagement, and the chat bot definitely helps owner operators engage at scale, which everyone wants to scale, right? Everyone wants to grow more customers, but the problem is you can't duplicate yourself, right? So the chatbot is an easy, probably one of the most cost-effective ways to help duplicate yourself without, blowing your budget out of the water. Yeah.
What are some ways you go about measuring the success of the campaigns that you put in place?
Yeah, so we always say we talk about collaboration. So the success of any marketing campaign is always going to be twofold, right? I can certainly get you calls to your business. I can get you in front of the people who are interested in your service, but I can't make them have a good customer experience, right? I can get them to fill out request a ride form, right? But I can't make the service affordable for them, right? So it all becomes into your market. What do you know about your market, right? From a pricing perspective, and what type of experience are you giving to your customers? I always say, like, I pay a premium for Starbucks because I know I'm gonna get, when I pull up to the drive-through, I'm gonna get good service, right? So you have to understand from a customer experience standpoint, that's essentially what people are paying for, because if they're entrusting you with either their loved one or themselves, they have to know that, hey, I can trust this person, or I know this person is going to be reliable. And just having a marketing campaign, like, that doesn't help, right? There has to be certain things in place to make sure that person has a good experience, and make sure that within that marketplace, your services are affordable. Because, like, I mean, getting the calls to your business or getting people to fill out the, book a ride form, like NEMT service providers are actually, I mean, they're really, really needed. People are actually searching for, hey, medical transportation near me. Like, people are actually actively searching for these services. So, we measure success by the number of phone calls we get to the business and how many people can we get to physically request rides from you. So that's how we measure it. And obviously there's analytics and stuff that we look at on Google. And when we bring on a client at that 30-day mark of, handling their Google ads or LinkedIn ads, we always have a sit down with them to go through the analytics, talk about things that need to be improved, talk about recommendations so that we can better optimize their advertising campaign. So I know one of the questions prior was, how are we like different from other marketing agencies? So we actually we don't operate on monthly retainers, right? So a lot of marketing agencies, it's like, hey, pay me $300 a month and I'll handle your whatever, right? We charge regardless of whatever platform you want to advertise on, we charge a one-time setup and management fee for 30 days, right? So after that 30 days, you want us to continue to manage the advertising for you, we can do that. Our philosophy is essentially this, right? Especially from a Google perspective. Once your Google advertising campaign is set up and optimized correctly for the keywords that people are searching for, we hand it off to you to say, hey, you can go in every month and reset your budget. If you want to scale higher, you can do that. If you want to turn it off, you can do that. But essentially it's kind of like a faucet, right? You turn your faucet on, water comes out. It's essentially like, hey, I want to turn customers on. I want to get more customers. Let me turn on my advertising for Google. I can't handle it this month. I need to scale back on my budget. Let me turn off. So we understand that we're working with small businesses. So we tailor our pricing to better suit that particular niche. And that's really how we set ourselves apart. We make sure that our services are affordable and that people can understand, like, hey, you have the power from an advertising perspective to control not only your budget, but when you're ready to scale, you can go in and and change things as well. So that's
And I like that. I
yeah.
like that. And I like it because let's face it, a lot of smaller NEMT companies are their budget is not that grand, right? So if they can hire Osborne Digital to come in, set the right foundation
Mm-hmm.
for some of those, you know, Google, whatever, Yelp, whatever type of advertising they want to do within their business. But if you can go in, set the foundation, and then they can learn how to take it over from there, or
Exactly.
they also have the option to continue to hire you and keep you on board. I think that that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, now another question that I want to ask you is what type of technologies or marketing technology or just marketing in general do you see emerging in the NEMT industry?
Yeah, so in NEMT, I mean, obviously you have your basic advertising, which is, Google, Facebook, and LinkedIn and stuff like that. Some of the other marketing techniques that I've seen is that some NEMT providers are partnering with home care service providers. So let's say they have um, like an in-home care company, they'll, partner with the in-home care company to provide transportation to those. So there's a way for you to market to individual consumers, right? Which is like, hey, my mom needs a ride. But then there's the home care side, like, hey, I can get with a home care business and provide transportation to their clients as well. So a lot of people are starting to do more strategic partnerships from a marketing perspective to kind of grow their customer base. We've seen that. We've also seen when we talk about ecosystem, we talk about, hey, I've got a client who signed up for my services, or if I have a community that they can subscribe to, we've seen a lot of email marketing be very, very successful in engaging those potential clients every month. Because I mean, let's say like everyone may not have a doctor's appointment every week, right? Or every every month. So being able to market to those people who have subscribed to your website or subscribed to your service or been a customer previously, the most effective marketing strategy is to really work within the customers that you already have, which is going to give you the biggest bang for your buck for sure.
And I remember in my conversation with Courtney talked about, she spoke about some of those partnerships with skilled nursing facilities and hospitals and things like that, and how your services have helped her connect with some of those key players in those high positions. So yeah, I think that that's really important because they're the ones that are essentially gonna bring in the big dollars, right? Of course, we have members of our community that may need a trip, a one or two, and still being able to connect with them, like you said, through email marketing. But the real goal is to get some of those larger contracts so
Mm-hmm.
that we can all expand our NEMT businesses.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If you could give the audience like a key tip, one thing that they can implement now, when it comes to marketing, like what can they do now to start or grow their NEMT business? What would it be?
Let's say you have an NEMT business today. You're offering rides. You're taking. Let's say you're broker based, right? 100% broker. The clients that you are servicing are still individual consumers, regardless of how they come into your business. So the best thing you could do right now, and it's 100% free, get a My Google Business profile. Start collecting reviews and testimonials, because Google, even if you decide to advertise after you've gotten all this, Google prioritizes those people who have 5-star ratings, right? If you go to Google, it's always, hey, the best star, the cream of the crop is always at the top. So the easiest thing you can do right now is collect customer reviews, get a My Google Business profile. And all a Google Business profile is essentially is your business, your logo, what you offer. So when people, let's say you're driving by in some city and somebody say, oh, they offer medical transportation, I can actually search your company and see everything you have to offer. And that's free marketing, right? So listing your brand or listing your business on Google, which is obviously one of the largest search platforms in the world, will allow you to be able to be seen by people who are searching for your business. And that's essentially what every business wants. Like, hey, somebody's looking for me. Can they find me? And that's essentially the best thing you can do right now for free literally take out your phone and go do it. So that's literally what you can do right now. Yeah.
For me, I'm gonna say like, and Jasmine, you and I discussed this when we spoke, and it's probably not something that you can do right now, but it's something to embed in your mind for the long run is to diversify your client base, diversify your portfolio. Don't feel like you have to be locked into the weekends to a certain type of clientele. I say open your doors to whatever you can, because there's gonna be some days when the facility that you think gives you something every day, they're going to run dry for a week or two. There's going to be something, the broker that you work from, that they're not sending you something. Honestly, my business started off purely residential. Now we operate mostly in the long-term care space, and we do some hospitals. So I would just say, I encourage everyone, don't feel like you need to be locked into Medicaid. Don't feel like you need to be locked into Medicare or any specific box. Open your doors to everything, and that's going to propel you faster than anything.
And I have one more question for you, Courtney. What is your goal for Patient Transportation LLC? What do you foresee for the future of your business?
Jasmine, I say, I'm gonna grow slowly and steadily, because that's the best. It's funny, when I first started the business, I was like, oh, I want 4 vans tomorrow. I want to be able to do all this. And when we started off, and I was like, okay, I haven't gotten a transport. And I just stepped out on faith, and it's been a month and we don't have anything. But when you look at it, like 3 months down the line, I was like, God is good, because if I would have started off with so much so fast, I wouldn't have been able to tolerate it all. So to slowly grow, um, this year my plan is to get a third van. We have to get a third one, and just kind of see. I want to grow. There's no boundaries on the business, just to take it steadily and slowly. So you never know. We might be all over the place one day.
Well, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, Harry,
Yeah.
can you tell our audience what is the best way to connect with Osborne Digital?
Yeah, so you can connect with us on Instagram or Facebook. Our Instagram tag is Osborne, OSBORNE_digital. On Facebook, you can look us up as just Osborne Digital. We'll come up. We have a little green logo. You'll see us there. And our website for NEMT service providers is osbornedigitalnemt.com. And you can see everything we talked about here today. You can see some of the example Google advertising ads that we have set up. It talks about the chat bots. And you can actually, I just added this like a couple of weeks ago. We have a chat bot on the Osborne Digital NEMT.com website. You can go in and play around with it. It allows you to customize a chat bot to your business on our website, and it'll respond like it's directly from your business. So you can kind of see some of the technology there. But yeah, it's a great resource. And you could reach out to us on any of those platforms. Absolutely.
Wonderful. So we are going to also put the links down in the description of this video. So if you guys are interested in learning more about Osborne Digital and their services, definitely go down to the description area of the video and you can get the information there. I want to thank Courtney and Harry for joining us today. I greatly appreciate you guys. And I'm just so thrilled to be able to share your story, Courtney, because I feel that you are truly inspirational to the NEMT community, because your growth is a testament of, hey, if I could do it, you could do it. And that's, Monica says that all the time. So, definitely. And then Harry, I'm excited to be able to spread awareness of the marketing services that are out there for any business owners. But also, I know a lot of times even for us, when we are looking for services, we don't know who to trust. We don't know who to choose. And at this point, I trust you. I trust your services because I've spoke to your customer base and I spoke to people that are utilizing your services, and it's working. Yeah. So thank you so much for, both of you guys for being on our platform, and I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you guys for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
All right. Bye.
Bye.